All right, welcome to the debate on today's edition of the Premier League preview show. Today will be feisty. Today will be tasty. Today will be nice. Let me give you the topic. And this topic is a good... Shouts to my producer. Wherever you are a great guy. I like this question. It says, VVD is the best centre-back. VVD is the best centre-back in Premier League history. Blasphemy or fact? Now, we asked this because Vincent Kompany was asked earlier this week, and he said, well, he thought Virgil Van Dijk was the Premier League's greatest ever defender. So we are asking the guys in studio, we are asking you, is Virgil Van Dijk the Premier League's greatest defender? Is it fact or is blasphemy? Wow. Gentlemen, are you ready? I'd like to hear the kind of arguments you will make.
Born ready.
You're born ready. Then you want to go first?
No, he's born ready. Let him go.
Okay, fine. So what do you say? Blasphemy or fact?
I told you last time, I am not going first. The next time I come here, he does.
Goodness.
And you promised.
I promised that. Okay.
You were going to make him go first.
You go first, please.
Thank you.
No, I'm not going first. It's always about to beat us on the show today.
There has to be something about going first that he doesn't
hold on.
like. So
I'm going to go first. I'm running the show. I said go first.
He said he was born ready.
I said go first.
I'm going to bite first. Don't worry. Okay. It's fine. There's something he's afraid about going first. So, because he wants my points out there so he can punch holes, and that's fine.
That's okay.
Because the points are going to be so strong, he'll be punching like a wall. It won't.
Okay.
There would be no access.
Okay, all right.
There would be no access. That's what I'm about to do here.
Oh,
Listen, is Van Dijk the Premier League's best ever defender? Absolutely not.
Okay.
You see, in
so
the conversation,
you think it's blasphemy?
I don't think it's necessarily out of the window, but I think that at this point in time, it is blasphemous to consider him the best ever defender. Okay. And I think the problem here, I'm going to begin, why we are even having this conversation, this debate, is that too many people, too many football fans, pundits included, myself included, too many of us are now prisoners of the moment.
Okay.
Don't be a prisoner of the moment. You did not start watching football today. Van Dijk has only had 20 months of good performance for Liverpool. That's how he's joining the conversation. Are we being fair? That we're focusing a conversation on the Premier League's best ever defender on a 20-month performance?
Okay.
Think about that. What are you doing to yourselves? Is that even fair? So that's what I'm going to begin with. That in the debate of the greatest ever, longevity has to be key. And when we begin the conversation with longevity, I am going to say that Virgil van Dijk still needs at least 3 more years at the very top of the Premier League as the best defender throughout the Premier League era to be considered in the conversation of the best ever.
Now, when we talk about the best defenders, how should we look at them based on what kind of parameters? You mentioned.
I just mentioned one.
Okay,
so
longevity.
If you let me, I would keep going.
Okay, I'm listening. Longevity.
So in that score, I think Van Dijk still has a few more years, at least 3 more years, before he can become. If he keeps up this performance, and I can say this for sure, he's a quality defender, and I have to say that the last 20 months have been 20 months of absolute perfection for Van Dijk. If he can keep that going for 3 more years, I think Van Dijk will be in that conversation of being the greatest ever Premier League defender. Until then, it's blasphemous for us to begin to have that conversation of being the Premier League best defender. Because when you have people like John Terry, who had been at the top for 10 years,
all right, and let's just look at a bit of comparison there. This is Terry's best season for Chelsea. And this is Van Dijk's best season for Liverpool. So the numbers are that Van Dijk scored 4, Terry 1. Van Dijk played 38 games, Terry 35. Terry conceded 1 goal less. Terry put in almost twice the number of tackles. Terry made 29 blocks, Van Dijk made 18. Terry made 69 tackles, Van Dijk made 38. Terry cleared the ball just about 60 or so times more than Van Dijk, and they share the interceptions, 40 each, with Terry leading blocks 29 to 18. So
and you see, I don't even agree with this, because 2008, 2009, John Terry wasn't. You have to go back to 2005 season.
Yes.
When Chelsea won the Premier League with John Terry partnering Carvalho in that Chelsea team that only conceded.
Well, I mean, just to put this into context, the stats we've pulled up were stats that were compiled after 2006. That was when Opta started compiling.
Oh, thank you. So that's the problem. People who started watching football after Opta, you think that Van Dijk will be the best defender.
But those numbers don't say.
But you see, but we also have numbers to give you a clear idea of where John Terry runs. If you go back to that 2004-2005 season, when Chelsea conceded just 15 goals in a 38-game season, Nathan, that is surreal.
They conceded 15 goals.
Yep.
But Terry did not play as right back, the two centre backs and left back, did he?
He did.
He only played in one position.
Yeah, it's not like Van Dijk is playing to all of them. So what's the point?
I'm just saying. You say that.
Yes, I'm saying
Chelsea
the point.
Conceded 15.
I'm saying the point is invalid.
I'm
saying it's invalid because it's not like Van Dijk is doing same.
Okay, fine.
So the parameters are the same.
Okay, fine.
You take a player like Vidic, for example. If anybody were to talk to you about who one of the greatest defenders in Premier League history is, you would pinpoint Vidic.
All right, so there we have Nemanja Vidic's best season. Fen, just wrap it up and then Ben can talk. This is Vidic's best season for Man United.
Look at clearances. It's not even close.
Well, I'm coming.
That's what defenders do.
Vidic played 6 less games.
That's because his DM cover was poor.
It wasn't 6 less games.
Hold on. He played 6 less games. Van Dijk has had 3 more clean sheets compared to Vidic's best season. Vidic conceded less. Vidic made more tackles. Van Dijk made just about a few more blocks, 3 more, 40 interceptions, and Vidic made 544 clearances compared to 199. So, friends, if I get you right, you are saying that Van Dijk needs longevity. He needs to play for some time so we can think of him as one of the best.
Yes, and I think that
just
by playing, yes, and you do notice how much you've interrupted my presentation with stats. I hope you do say.
The stats are to guide everybody.
Yeah, they are. But the question is, will you pull them up again when he starts talking?
Well,
that's the thing.
I don't know why you are even doing.
No, I'm saying that
on the side of technicalities,
no, it's not technicalities. It's the thing that it's just the point that I've not had time to really express.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him 2 minutes of my debate time.
Do you understand?
2 minutes of my debate time.
You've mentioned 2 greats.
Yes.
Terry and Vidic.
I haven't even gotten close to Jaap Stam. I haven't talking about Rio Ferdinand. And I'm saying that, or even Tony Adams. These guys spearheaded a dominant era for their various teams. If you go to Manchester United, for example, and you look at what Jaap Stam did around the time that he was at Manchester United, he was surreal. He was almost elegant. It was the sort of player that he was, and he didn't do it for 20 months. He did it for quite a long time. Won the Champions League along the way, and more importantly, won the Premier League title. You take Tony Adams, very similar. You take John Terry, 5 Premier League titles. Van Dijk has none. The only time we've ever heard about Van Dijk was when he joined Liverpool. Van Dijk at Southampton was an okay defender.
Yeah, but Van Dijk at
Celtic was playing against farmers in the Scottish Premier League. You take a player like Vidic,
now
for
we descended
example,
into the gutters.
You understand? So I'm saying that it is very important, it is very crucial for us to look at these parameters and look at winning, and look at longevity, and look at dominance, and look at who put his body on the line. Who would you go to war with? It's certainly not Van Dijk. If I want a defender, the greatest ever in the Premier League era,
you won't be talking about.
I won't be talking about Van Dijk.
Okay.
In 3 years' time, we can have the conversation about Van Dijk.
Okay.
But as it stands now, he's an excellent defender. There's no doubt about it.
But it's blasphemy.
It is blasphemy.
Okay.
Because I just don't think that he's been consistent at the top long enough to be considered one of the greatest.
Thank you very much, Fence. So, Fence is done. Ben, your take now. So the jury, the things have been listed against Van Dijk. Not enough longevity.
Yeah.
He's only played 20 months at a top club. And the common thread that has run through all the names that Fence has mentioned is that they have a Premier League title, at least one. Van Dijk doesn't have any. So how is he in this conversation?
I like the fact that he said, I wanted to wait so I could punch holes. His argument is naked. I don't have to punch any holes in his argument.
Come on, man.
Listen, let me tell you this. People have revisionist history. So this bit about us talking about Van Dijk like we started watching football after Opta is nice, you see. But I like the arguments he makes as well. You know, the only person that I would have mentioned to be greater than Van Dijk is the guy who gave Van Dijk the endorsement. Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany is greater than John Terry. If you're a Chelsea fan, I'm telling you right now, he's greater than Rio Ferdinand. If you're a United fan right now,
how is that so?
How is that so? He single-handedly has influenced titles in a bigger way than any of those guys you're mentioning with all their defensive stuff.
By keeping more clean sheets.
But let's not go there. Let's not go there. It's more about.
No, but it's just not true.
It's more than clean sheets.
It's just not true.
You know why it's more than clean sheets? Because the players you're mentioning are not goalkeepers. They are not, like Nathan said, they are not right backs, they are not left backs. They are only one player. But I'll tell you the impact of what. Hold on.
John Terry has more goals than Vincent Kompany. So how is that even? It's not
Did John Terry score?
He doesn't have more clean sheets. He doesn't have more goals. So how is it better?
Did John Terry score a goal that won his team a Premier League title?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
The most crucial goal of their season.
Yes.
Well, Ben,
we'll come back to
that. Then
let's stay on the argument. Let me stay on Van Dijk. Let me stay on Van Dijk because he's diluting my argument. The truth of the matter is that we are talking about a modern era of football. I've seen all those stats you've put there. They are cute. 504, 40-something interceptions. The game of football has changed. How football was played 10 years ago is not how football is being played now. Now, I'll tell you something, right? Before Liverpool purchased Virgil van Dijk, did you see what their defensive stats looked like? They conceded how many goals the season before? They conceded 30 goals the season before. 30 goals. They purchased this guy for 75 million. The guy who was apparently playing with, according to friends, Van Dijk was practically average or a little above average. Who in their right minds purchases an average defender for 75 million? And then he comes into a team and their goals conceded is slashed by half.
But Ben, I'm asking a question. So Liverpool buy Van Dijk. Agreed. He improves their defense. But clearly he wasn't in the post.
Good.
Catching.
He wasn't. Now, this is where the facts and stats come out. Until now, I didn't even think it was a relevant stat. But this guy hadn't been dribbled in an entire league
gone
season.
Past him, yes.
That's ridiculous. How does that even happen?
That's one of the most useless statistics out there.
How does that even happen? Let me take it to the next level. Let's compare Van Dijk, Terry, and Vidic ability for ability.
Van Dijk,
because
Terry,
those are the men we are using for this comparison, right? Tackling ability.
Terry better, Vidic better.
Okay, I mean, it's my producers.
No, it's not subjective. These are numbers. They are facts. It's not left to opinion.
If my producer is there, could you please throw up the Van Dijk numbers versus Terry, and then the Van Dijk numbers versus Vidic? And then so you talk about tackles. So there you see Terry putting in 69 tackles, Van Dijk putting in 38 tackles.
And let me explain that to you. That's why I'm saying that football is not played the same way. What did Mourinho's football bring? Mourinho's football was counter-attacking football. Chelsea were under pressure incessantly. How many times do Liverpool play football where they are the ones under pressure?
This wasn't even under Mourinho.
This is Vidic.
This wasn't even under Mourinho.
So this is Vidic's numbers. He made 72 tackles, just 4 shy of a complete 100% number from Virgil van Dijk's 30.
And you see, I don't even need these numbers. On the eye test alone, Van Dijk is a better tackler than both of them. He's a better interceptor.
That's just not true.
He's a better game reader.
It's just not true.
7 more interceptions. I'm sure if we see Vidic's numbers, he probably would have made more interceptions.
Nathan, I'm not going to say defender.
How do you look at numbers and say
I'm not? That's what you're doing. You're looking at numbers and making a point. And I'm telling you that I'm not going to look at somebody make 7 interceptions more and say that because of that he's better than this.
It's nearly twice as many.
The truth of the matter is this. No player, Vidic before he came to United were not in tatters. Vidic did not revolutionize United's defense. Neither did John Terry. Virgil van Dijk came into Liverpool and redefined the conversation. Hold on, Nathan, hold on. Before then, when we were talking about the best players on the planet, we'll talk about Ronaldo, we'll talk about Messi, and we'll talk about another attacking force. When did Vidic and Ferdinand ever make it into that conversation? When? Even with their Premier League titles. And Premier, it's just like saying that A, B, and C has a World Cup. Yeah, Benjamin Pavard has a World Cup. Do you know how many? Do you know how many players? Do you know how many players I can list off the top of my head?
Do you really think that Van Dijk had any chance of winning the UEFA Best Player when Ronaldo and Messi were at their prime?
What prime are you talking about? Whose fault is it that they weren't at their prime?
It's not. It's nature. They're growing old.
No, but whose fault is
nature.
Van Dijk is 28 yet. Van Dijk is not a toddler.
Ronaldo is 34.
Van Dijk is 28
yet. He's 34, 6 years older.
But Ronaldo is still in the position to win another Ballon d'Or. Is he not in his prime still?
Ben, hold on. Let's as we wrap
I'm
this
saying
up.
Van Dijk has redefined the conversation. The Terry and Ferdinand redefined the conversation.
Are you saying that with 20 months of football,
he has managed to convince people that a centre back is good enough to be a Ballon d'Or winner.
That's okay.
Did that ever happen? Did you ever think John Terry would be Ballon d'Or winner?
Well,
there was a point, yes.
Did you ever think the match of Vidic would be Ballon d'Or winner?
Van Dijk is not the only player to have walked into this kind of space. I agree that this hasn't happened in a long time. But of course, you talk about people like people like Beckenbauer, really. Cannavaro won the World Cup's best player in 2000.
And that's rare. Even if you take a Van Dijk, right? Look, it's rare for a player to come in and have the sort of impact he's had. If you look at the goals Liverpool have considered, Rich, I wish I could pull that out to you. He practically is not just the best defender in the PL now. Okay, but he's the best defender in the world now.
Okay, that is established.
That's finally.
That is established. Look, I think we've all said that. We all agree. We all agree.
The only blight, the only reason why Van Dijk is not better than Terry.
So all these other guys
it's because they have a Premier League title. But you see, even in those seasons, they didn't finish their league seasons with over 90-something points and not win a title. So I'm telling you that times have changed and context is everything. If you put Van Dijk right now before John Terry, how is John Terry a better? He's not better aerially. He's not better with both feet. He's not a better passer of the ball.
He's a better
interceptor.
Maybe he's good.
He's a better tackler. The numbers are not there.
That's why. All right, guys.
If you're a better goal scorer, he's a better tackler.
Listen,
we have got to end this. We have got because we have other things to do. We have got to end it.
But I'll make this point. If Liverpool's goal mouth is seeing 3 offensive moves by the opponent, Van Dijk will not have to be busy. If John Terry's goal map was seeing 10 offensive moves, of course John Terry would have to get busy.
And here's the ultimate question. Finish your argument. Do you genuinely think that the 20 months of work that you speak about
has really
hold on, look. The 20 months of work that you've seen from Van Dijk, that is enough to make him the greatest ever in the 25 years of the Premier League. That's the question.
It's not enough to make him the greatest.
Okay, it's enough for
That's enough for me to think that even in 20 months, he's been put in the same conversation with your 10-year legend.
All right, guys, that's it.
The conversation isn't the same as being there.
Okay, guys.
If they didn't have titles, this conversation would be.
All right, let's end it. Very interesting debate there. I suspect this will not end anytime soon. You can continue the conversation in your office, house, bars, pubs, whatever.
The planet.
It's okay. It's okay. All right, we are ending the debate now. It looks like if I don't stop it, the guys will go on. All right, that ends the debate so the guys can cool their heads.